The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, it was a pretty action-packed race, but I'm going to take you behind the scenes of this 4-day event with some interesting observations in 8 seconds' time. The Saudi Grand Prix, what a crazy race. And I'll get to that a little bit later in the video. I want to go through a couple of my most popular posts on Instagram. These two, Sebastian Vettel, Antonio Giovinazzi. Now, Antonio I don't post a great deal of because most of the time I get Antonio in a cap, sunnies and a mask. Not a very entertaining photo. But after quali on the Saturday night, he came out of the garage with his helmet off, with his balaclava off, no face mask, no sunnies. And here we have the natural Antonio. And boy, didn't you love it on Instagram. Another of my popular posts was this one, Sebastian Vettel putting a cable tie in the bin. What's the big deal about that? Well, as you know, Seb picked up rubbish in Silverstone after the race, went and cleaned up a grandstand with his crew, and here he is again doing something similar. Now, a lot of people said, oh, big deal, he's throwing his rubbish in the bin. No, it wasn't his rubbish. It was something he saw on the ground. And I love that about Sebastian. He backs up his words with action. As you probably know, this track was built in 8 months, which is a fair achievement, but there were a lot of teething problems, and I can tell you a couple of the teams had feces and urine dripping into the backs of their garages from leaks above in the Paddock Club. Here were 2 that I spotted, and here's the cleanup of one of those events, and I must admit it didn't smell too good. And I guess with a project of this size, until you test it with a lot of people, you're not going to know where the weak points are. Oh yes, and AlphaTauri, I believe, on Friday night had to get in pizzas because they had a problem in their kitchen that rendered it unusable. And even around the track during quali there were workers toiling furiously to finish the job. But I think it's fair to say that the health and safety aspect of this job is not quite as diligent as it would be, perhaps certainly from my country, because I spotted this amongst a couple of big holes. And at night, if you were walking along and weren't looking, it's very easy to wind up down this 1.5 metre deep hole, and that would not be pretty. One morning, Daniel Ricciardo arrived at the track in a hoodie. Now, I've got to tell you, it was darn warm, especially during the daylight hours. Why was he wearing a hoodie? He'd forgot his team shirt, and he's required to wear team kit into the track. So for that 300 metre walk from the car park to the hospitality suite, he had to endure the heat in a hoodie. On the Friday, I did the FP2 session in pit lane under lights, which I've done once, I think, before, but it's quite an experience. And what it did show up was the lights that shine onto the tyres when the cars come in for a pit stop. This is how the drivers know where to exactly stop. And you can see here that this system offers different coloured lights to this system. During FP1, which was run pretty much at sunset, I headed out not too far from the end of the paddock, actually. And I love this shot here. Now, this was an absolute fluke. Now, the sun, obviously, and the mosque in the background, well, they're a given. But the sparking, well, you just got to be lucky for a shot like this. What were the dress regulations like here? Well, in the paddock, it was virtually business as usual. Men could wear shorts. On the women's side, didn't see anybody in a short skirt. I think I only saw one woman with her shoulders exposed. Everyone else was dressed respectably for the culture. And if we go to race day, here's Jerry Halliwell, or Jerry Horner, Christian's wife, dressed in a rather magnificent long flowing outfit, a little Jedi style, somebody said. Over the weekend, I caught Valtteri's girlfriend, Tiffany Cromwell, in the most colourful outfit I've seen her in all year, from Prada. Carlos's mum, I've not seen her at the track before, often seen Dad obviously, but it was lovely to meet her and Lance Stroll's girlfriend, Sarah Pagliaroli, having a bit of fun here, blowing you a kiss via my lens. Once again, Lewis Hamilton did not disappoint when it came to the fashion stakes, coming on all 4 days in interesting outfits, and that creates quite a bit of comment on my Instagram pages. This I thought was funny, somebody explaining what was written on Lewis's green tracksuit, which was a Gucci affair. But I think maybe Lapo Elkin from Ferrari trumped him with this yellow suit. He is certainly an out there guy. Before you leave home on your next trip, take a photo of your luggage. In the event that an airline loses your luggage, instead of you trying to describe your suitcase, you can give them a photo. It'll save you time and enhance your chances of getting your suitcase back sooner. As you know, Frank Williams died last week, aged 79. Well, there were tributes on every single car. I managed to grab pictures of 9 of them. Couldn't find the Ferrari one, I'm afraid. And on the subject of farewells, F1 said goodbye to Jean Todt, who leaves as the president of the FIA, and they had a group photo out on the track a couple of hours before the start of the race on Sunday. Sunday in Jeddah was not only hot, it was humid, and quite tough work out on the track before the start of the race. And who could blame this Alpine technician for cooling down using one of the engine air blowers? But come the start of the race, I headed up to turn 1 and shot it from the elevated position, and in this race we had 3 starts instead of 1, so we had 3 sets of action. I'd like to tell you that I captured Yuki's crash, but at that particular moment I was following these 2 Ferraris as they went around turn 2, and then as I took my eye away from the viewfinder, I find that yes, Yuki has had an incident. And earlier, Mick Schumacher's crash was not too far from me that I got this shot of the car being lifted out of the track, but couldn't actually see the impact point because of a big screen in the way. Because the race had gone for such a long time, I'd run out of battery in one camera. I headed back to the media centre, then back to the paddock, and I captured some images from low down of the podium, and did note that Max was very quick to leave the podium. He certainly wasn't keen on hanging around and celebrating with the 2 Mercedes drivers. The TV media pen often provides us with great opportunities for candid photos of the drivers, and great moments like this one here where Carlos was quite chummy with Lando, waiting for his chance to speak to whatever TV crew that Lando was speaking to, and in the end he just lost his patience and roped Lando out using his towel. After the media pen, the drivers then head back to their hospitality suite on the race night, and you can tell how things are going for the drivers. For instance, Pierre here smiles at me because he's had a good race. Lando, on the other hand, he conveys his emotions with this look on his face. And I'm certainly lucky that I know both of those drivers enough that they're happy to provide those snapshots of their emotions at that time. Toto Wolff had a big smile on his face after the race, as you can well imagine. Christian Horner not so. And I did catch them being interviewed close to each other. That must be tricky too, because they don't get on terribly well. Toto out on pit lane after the photo for Jean Todt walked back with his wife Susie. I'd mentioned to Toto earlier in the day that I needed a photo of Susie for my Women of the Paddock, and shortly after I took this picture he sort of gestured to me like, do you want to do it now? And it was a prime opportunity. Nice background, and got this lovely photo of Susie, who's not only Toto's wife but the CEO of a Formula E team. And then a long time after the race, we had the post-race celebration at the Mercedes garage. Oh, no, it wasn't at the garage, was it? No, it was at the hospitality suite. And there is a lot of waiting around, and thank you to those people who sent me, well, there's a lot of people sent me notes saying, oh, you're on Ted's notebook section. Yes, I did see that cameraman walk off the deck with his light on, and I thought, is he recording? Is this live? I had no idea anyway. But yes, the team did come out, celebrate in a very cramped space. I didn't have the right lens, so all I got was the main protagonists here, celebrating in fine style after what was quite an amazing night. Now we go to the next race, knowing that whoever finishes in front of the other, in terms of Max and Lewis, wins the championship. My money, I think Lewis will win, but I'd like to see Max get up. And certainly it's not a done deal for Lewis. I think it'd be good for the competition if Max won. One thing's for sure, though, this will be the most watched F1 race this year. Maybe this decade, who knows? The interest is high, the tension is immense, and I think we're in for a stunning weekend of racing here in beautiful Abu Dhabi, where it's a lot cooler than it was in Jeddah. If you've liked the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe too, I'd love that. And if you'd like to become a member, I'll make sure you get a whole host of extras included in your membership fee. All of my digital images are available at prostarpics.com for editorial and personal use. You'll find my F1 driver photo books at kimillman.com, along with a range of merchandise. And for my best images live from the track and all during the week, head to Instagram and search at Kim Illman. Thanks for watching and stay passionate. No. No.